Okay. Welcome to the Shalom Bayit. Stand up between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Special. You know, there is a secular assumption that marriages will survive just because the attraction between a man and a woman will be enough, is sufficient to hold marriages together. We see it's very wrong. I'll give you a few examples. I was in Jerusalem, I was in Yerushalayim, I went to a bank, and I see two lines. One line of men and one line of women. I'm like, wow. I went to the branch manager, and I said, wow, kol hakavod. Even in banks, you actually keep men and women apart? In Yerushalayim, mamash? He told me, what are you talking about? This is deposits, this is withdrawals. Right? There's a guy, he comes home. He comes home and he finds his wife on the phone for 15 minutes. He tells her, kol hakavod, only 15 minutes. Usually you're on the phone for 45 minutes, an hour. So she goes, oh, it was the wrong number. I asked this guy, how is your Shalom Bayit? He tells me, Rabbi Nir, it's 99% great. It's 99% okay. I'm like, wow, 99% is pretty good. Tell me about that 1% that's not good, right? So what does it tell me? Rabbi Nir, 99% of the time of the day, I'm at work. So I have Shalom Bayit. It's only when I come home and I'm with my wife that I don't have Shalom Bayit. Where is the Shalom Bayit? If it's only when he's his wife, he doesn't have Shalom Bayit? Listen, if you didn't laugh all day, this is a time to laugh right now. Shalom Bayit is the most comic thing. You want to cry for Yom Kippur? Think about your Shalom Bayit. You want to be mehader the mitzvah? Think about your Shalom Bayit. All right. So this guy comes home, and his wife is there, ready to shoot. Yes? Amazon this, and carpool that, and Moshe did this, and Yankel did this, and the teacher did that. Sometimes it looks to a husband that the wife is really like that page on the website where it says all the terms, right? You start reading, and then after a while you give up, and all you are looking for is that click to say, I agree, I agree. I agree. Consent. Just go through the page. Show me where to write I agree, right? And you want, right? You just like turn it off. Happened to me. In the morning I wake up, and I take the car and I drive my son Abraham to school. He goes to yeshiva in Calabasas. Lo and behold, half an hour later, the phone rings. Who is it? My wife. I took the wrong car. She was planning to take this car to the carpool, and I took the carpool car. And how dare I? Okay, I am sorry. Was I sorry? Yes, I am sorry. No, this is not right. We should go to Rabbi Graydon. We should do this. We should do that. This is unacceptable. Okay, fine. You're right. I come back home. I apologize. Nothing. The more I apologize, in fact, the angrier she gets. The angrier she gets. You want to learn how to do true apologies for Yom Kippur? Forget about all these books and all these lectures. Learn from your wife, right? Just, darling, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I won't do it again. I used the magic words and it still didn't help. Why? The reason is simple. Because besides the fact that I actually did something wrong, I did something else. Yes? Just like in a transgression of any avera. Besides the avera, there's also the fact that I disregarded my wife. Now, you notice, ladies, in the back there that I speak to husbands, to your husbands, right? I am speaking to you too over there. But because the husbands are closer to me here, I'm speaking to them here. But just so you know, I'm speaking to the ladies also. When I say wife, it could be spouse. So, the very first rule in apologies is to understand that just a simple apology, if it doesn't work for your wife, it's because you have really hurt her feelings, because you have distanced yourself. You created this distance by not listening to your wife. Okay. So, That was a case where I did not listen to my wife, and I got a lot of heat for that. Sometimes you do listen to your wife. In fact, you listen to your wife 100%, and you're still wrong. And she'll still be angry. I'll give you an example for that also. Yes, but first a joke. You know what? This guy is in a flower shop, and it tells his wife, "Darling, I'm getting you a nice bouquet of flowers for our 20th anniversary." And she says, "Darling, nothing would please me more." So he gets her nothing. She said, "Nothing would please me more," and he gets her nothing. Does it happen in marriage? Does it happen in marriage? Yes or no? All the time. I can think of 3 examples from yesterday. Your wife asks you, "Do you want some tea?" Darling, she's not looking for a yes or no question. This is really an invitation. Sit down and have some tea with me, right? If you say no, you got it wrong, right? It sounds very simple. A yes or no question. No. Then she goes, and so you say yes. Then she goes, "Have you seen the chamomile tea bags?" That's not a yes or no question. This is an invitation to go on a hunt. If you say no, she'll keep asking. Yes? To you, it will sound like she's a nudnik, right? She's repeating herself. She is not repeating herself. You didn't hear it the first time around. In the Torah, it says, "Shma bekol Sarai ishtecha." Listen in her voice. In Hebrew, we say lekol, shma lekol. Listen to the voice. Listen to someone, not listen in someone, right? What's the reason? Because your wife talks this way. Every time she talks, you really have to understand what is she talking about. I'll give you a different example. But before I do, let me tell you about my system. My system has worked great for me. Yes? Every time I had this misunderstanding and I saw that I'm just answering a question. What do you want from me? I just came back from work. I don't know what you want from me. So my wife would tell me, this was my expectation. When I said X, I expected to hear Y. So after a while, I learned that take a post-it note and start sticking it on the fridge. The fridge is the first, item in my house. I come in, I see the fridge. And when my wife is there attacking me, the very first thing I would go to the fridge and I would say, "Oh, you want me to ask you how was your day? You want me to ask you, oh, how are you feeling?" Right? This is it. One time I shared this little episode with one of my students, and he asked me, "Doesn't it make you look like a fool that all your fridge is full of sticky notes about how to respond to your wife?" I said, "Better be a fool, but have shalom bayit." Last week, someone asked me, "Listen, you run out of space, with all these post-it notes of how to say, what to say, when to say things." I said, "Yeah, buy another fridge." He said, "Buy another fridge just for this?" I said, "Yes. You want shalom? Buy it. Buy it. You get it? You want shalom? Buy it. You have to buy. You have to expend money for shalom. Buy it." Okay. This girl tells this boy, she tells him, "Darling, when we grow up, I will fix all your problems." And he says, "I don't have any problems." And she goes, "We are not married yet." You think it's a joke? There is the midrash. Adam, when God created Adam, first thing, Adam goes like, "Oh my God, there are so many cows out there, and so many sheep, and so many giraffes, but there is only one God. And just like you are the only one up there, I'm the only one down here." God said, "Oh yeah? Wait up." He created Eve. Eve comes, and what's the very first thing that she tells Adam? "Psst, you're nobody." Adam is full of himself. Eve, you're nobody. Yes? "I will fix all your... We're not married yet. Wait until we get married." You want to know, men, husbands, people, camaraderies. You want to know what to work on for Yom Kippur? You don't have to go to the Siddur. Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazanu. Listen to your wife. She will point out. She points out all your negativities. She does tell you all things that you weren't well. These are exactly the things that you need to work on. Especially if you get angry. Anger is a gift that God gave us men to know for what? What? Because these are the areas that we especially have to work on when we are angry. And exactly those areas. A husband comes home. His wife tells, by the way, all these examples are not from my marriage, all right? Not from my marriage. Mrs. Khalili, make sure you tell my wife I said it, okay? Okay. Last night I had a little issue with my wife. I told her, darling, I already have my class full. I don't need any more new materials from my classes. Please leave me alone. A husband comes home and he hears the baby is crying. Now, ladies, you may not know, but the baby is crying is one problem. But there is even a bigger problem the baby is crying. And that is... What? No. Baby is crying is a problem. The baby is crying. The house is a mess. It's all problems. There is even a bigger problem. And that is hearing the wife crying. I'll tell you why. A wife crying is like alarms. Listen, in Israel, there are alarms for practicing. You hear them all the time. You go into things, right? And they tell you, in case of real alarm, right? The alarm will go sound like, right? If the baby crying, it's fake alarm. I can deal with it. A wife crying, I'm not doing something right. Something is off. What's going on? The wife says, baby has only one passing, and we lost it. Yes? Now, you are the husband. You're ready. You are smart. You know exactly how to deal with it. You tell her, darling, no worries. Here, Walgreens is open 24/7. Let me go and get a few pacifiers. Your wife tells you, you just got home. You think you're going to leave me with this baby and go and get out of the house again? Sit down. She said, no worries. You know what? There is this new invention, Amazon Prime drone. I will order it now. Within 5 minutes, pacifier will fly from the air. Your wife tells you, you are going to be on your cell phone again? Right? You just came home. Get off your cell phone, right? You tell her, oh, you think that your wife is maybe just venting. Maybe it's time to commiserate. She tells you about her bad day and how the baby was crying, right? She's crying. Maybe you should be crying too. You start, right, mirroring her. What do you say? You think you had a hard day? Baby, listen to my hard day. In my day, the inspector had to show up in this, he didn't show up there, and the secretary said this, the phones were ringing off the hook, my deadlines, my boss, blah, blah. And your wife? Death sentence. What does that have to do with you? What does that have to do with anything? What does your day have to do with what we're doing here? The baby's crying. The last thing I want to hear is about your problem. Because she's talking about our baby. You're talking about your stuff. Little differences. Right? Wife says, darling, while she's doing dishes, she says, oh, come on. Oh, my back hurts. You tell her, if your back hurts, why are you doing the dishes? Right? A problem solver. Right? A problem solver. Or you tell her, take Advil. You became a doctor. Or you tell her, all day you worked so hard. Wow, you really have Olam Haba. You became a rabbi. Or you can do the worst thing. You criticize her. Your back hurts? Stop eating all these fudge cakes and all these things. What? Watch your weight. Listen, if you don't know what to tell your wife, follow this formula. It works all the time, with some minor exceptions. So here it is. Hear this joke out. It sounds like a joke. It's really not. This guy calls Amazon and he says, hey, I would like to return a parrot. And the Amazon lady says, yeah, no problem. We have a very generous return policy. I'm just curious to know, why are you returning the parrot? And you go, it's a female parrot. And the Amazon lady says, so what? What difference does it make whether it's a female parrot or a male parrot? And you tell her, oh, this parrot keeps arguing with me. She doesn't repeat what I'm saying. In case of doubt, repeat what your wife said. Here is an example. She says, my back hurt. What do you have to say? Oh, wow. If you don't know how to say wow, leave it out. Right? All you have to say is, I see your back hurts. That's it. That's it. You know why it works? It works for some cosmic divine way, and I'll tell you why. Because all the other answers you offered really centered about yourself. All of them were revolving around yourself. You're full of yourself. This is Eve telling Adam, you're nobody. This is it. Because you were saying, I will go to Walgreens. You are the center. I will do the drone thing. I'm so smart. I'm the rabbi. I will fix what? She doesn't know she needs to take Advil when she has a headache? But suddenly, when you repeat to her what she just said, my back hurts. What does she think? Oh, I'm at the center of the world. He is out of his little bubble. Now he's talking funny. He's talking about me. Your back hurts, baby? Oh my God. Oh, wow. You must have a hard time. You have been with this baby all day and I cannot even take it for 5 minutes. Right? That's it. My greatest inspiration for Shalom Bayit, besides my wife, is Rabbi Simcha Cohen. He wrote not books about Shalom Bayit, he wrote an encyclopedia on Shalom Bayit. And he devoted 80% of his encyclopedia to what he believes to be 80% of all the Shalom Bayit problems. And what are they? Any guesses? Come on. Here is the mic. Testing. Yes. Anybody wants to venture? 80% of Shalom Bayit problems are self-centeredness. Good. Almost there. Yes. Anybody else? Any other guesses? Communications. Okay. Anything else? Everything is communications. Everything. Empathy is communications. Self-centeredness is communications. Anger is communication. Anything is communication. Communication is everything. Something specific in communication. More about self-centeredness. What else? Come on. 80%, if you're able to nail it, you will have the key to 80% of your problems. Yes? Not listening. Okay. Empathy. What else?
How about kids?
Kids. In-laws. Kids. Everything you mentioned so far belongs to the 20%. Rabbi Simcha Cohen says 80% of your Shalom Bayit issues relate to what? That's what he said. Not listening. That reminds me of a different joke. Yes, what? Attention. Okay. Giving enough attention. Patience. You're all in 20%. Let me tell you what the 80% is through a what? Joke. A joke. I tell jokes because people remember jokes. Ladies, you see how all the guys here are listening to me? That's because it's all about jokes. Afterwards, when I see them in the street, oh, Rabbi, you're so funny. All they remember is the jokes. What do you remember from my class? Oh, the parrot joke was really fabulous. What did you learn? Okay, here it is. How often do you have to spell your name to someone else on the phone or at the bank? Yes, you're on the phone with DWP or AT&T, and you have to spell your name. My name is Yacobi. The easy way out is Y is for yellow, A is for apple, C is for California, whatever it is. There are some nerds among us, and they come up with all these social experiments. They don't lose a moment to try things out. Yes? So since English is my, God knows how many, maybe my fourth language, I have a medical dictionary on my desk and I learn diseases. Y is for yeast infection. A is for asphyxiation, whatever they call that. Asphyxiation. And then C is for corona, right? The next thing you know is that the lady on the other side of the phone, she starts thinking that I am actually saying bad words. I'm cursing. Darling, I'm not cursing anybody. This is just a medical dictionary. I'm just practicing my pronunciation. Pronunciation, right? That proves to you that words have power. Words are powerful. And therefore, if you want to create a positive atmosphere at your home, if you want to have some shields against your wife coming to attack you, what do you have to do at home? Give compliments. Compliments. This is the word I was looking for. 80% of his encyclopedia is about compliments. How to give it, when to give it, what happens when you give a compliment and your wife rejects it, what happens if the compliment is insufficient, what if it happens if it is appropriate. My God, compliments, it's all about compliments. So, if you want to build a home that is more positive, if you want to have shalom bayit, yes? What I do, my wife taught me, is a wonderful thing. You take a box of tissues. And you print out mitzvah box on your printer and you let your kids, color it. And you put this mitzvah box at the center of the table. Every day, someone does something at home, so you write a little stick note in the kotel, like a kvittel here, yes? And then Erev Shabbat, Shalom Aleichem Malachi Hasharet. I would like to use my mitzvah box here, and you start pulling out. Thank you, Avraham, for helping Chedva with her homework. Thank you, Ima, for a wonderful soup. And then everybody, and it's not just me, and after a while, everybody at home starts writing into this mitzvah box. And the world and the home is just such more positive and such a greater place. Okay. Now, you remember when I said all the advice I gave you works all the time except for the times that they don't? Let me tell you why. This husband listens to his kid coming to his mommy. He says, Mommy, the kid, Mommy, I have a tummy. My tummy aches. And so mommy says, oh, tummy ache? That's a sign that your tummy is empty. Go eat something and the aching will go away. The following day, mommy comes to the husband and she goes, my head hurts. The husband goes, oh, head hurts? That's the sign that your head is empty. Right. Listen to this. Not everything works the same way. That's why you need to buy a second fridge for all the nuances with your wife. That's why you have to listen to the nuances. Let me tell you what I mean by that. There was a situation. I was already in bed. I turned off the light. I said Shema. I was ready to call it quits. 11 o'clock, maybe 12 o'clock. Suddenly, the door opens from the bathroom. All the lights comes on, and dum-dum-dum. I can't believe it. There is no internet at home. There is no Amazon. How am I going to return the books? The Amazon piles up for this. 10 boxes there. Blah 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 blah. And I'm talking, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Who took the internet out of the home? I'm thinking to myself, you took the internet out of the home. What do you want from me? I'm so tempted to answer. Israelis especially, men especially Israelis, especially Sephardim. You get attacked, you feel like attacking back. What is this? This is a war. It's an all-out war. And the best way of dealing with war is open other fronts. Attack back with all the power that you have. You can show it to your enemy. Right? What is it? No internet? What do you want from me? I already said Shema. My day is over. I didn't say a word. Zip. Silence is golden. Right? Turns out it worked. I didn't say a word. My wife, saw she doesn't have anybody to, no Hamasniks to conduct the war with back. And she retracted. She went back into the bath. And I know, I just fell asleep. So I shared that silence is golden with one of my students. And he said, Rabbi, I don't understand this. Silence is golden? I do it all the time. My wife comes to me and she goes, I can't believe you just did that. You invited someone to our house without consulting me? That is crazy. And I took your advice. Silence is golden. Zip. And I zip. And the more I zip, the more angry she becomes. And I don't understand. And then she becomes angry about this and about that. And then the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. What happened to silence is golden? So I told him about this joke, That's a sign your head is empty. Because silence is golden sometimes. Yes? When is it golden? It's golden when you are not the cause of your problem, of the problem. If your wife comes to you with an outside frustration, that frustration is outside of the relationship, then you just happen to be there. You're a bystander, right? But if you are the cause of the problem, silence is not going to be helpful. Silence is damning. You've got to deal with this. Yes? So too, also analogous to a different situation. When my wife and I, we sometimes argue, I just say, no, not kush. And my wife starts, like your ladies in the back, you smile back, you crack up, you calm down. That doesn't always work. Sometimes ladies, when you do that to them, they will tell you, grow up. What do you think? That I'm a baby? What is this, a child game? I'm dealing about serious issues here. And the reason why it works for me and it doesn't work for the next guy is because, any guesses? Come on, this is an interactive workshop. By the way, workshop. You want to know the formula for Shlom Bayit? Men work, women shop. This is a workshop. And the reason why it works for me and it doesn't work for the next guy is simply because I take my wife on a date. As religious as I am, I come to Shachrit, Mincha, and Mariv. I take my wife to a date at least once a week to iron out everything. Everything. Nothing stands. Nothing. There is some problem, we deal with it. We cannot solve it, Rabbi Graydon. That's it. Simple. Never carry anything over. Right? So she knows when I do this, nana kush, she knows that it's not just an attempt to sweep things under the rug. But if you don't have this feature of going on a date to really address your issues, this is just a cover-up. And your wife will remind you. I told you. Your wife will remind you of all your shortcomings. You don't have to say, Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Chazalnu. Listen to your wife. Okay. I have another 10 minutes. That's 3 podcasts. You know that I have a podcast. It's every one of them is about 3 minutes. 10 minutes is 3. So this guy goes to a doctor. And, my God, Israel. נומי. זה בדיחה שלא שמעת עדיין. שומע? Someone goes to a doctor and he says, doctor, psychologist, listen, I have a problem. I have a nightmare. Please help me. And the psychologist asks, what's the problem? So he says, every night I dream that I am playing basketball with a donkey. So the doctor says, no problem. Here, take this pill and it will go away. And the guy goes, can I start taking it tomorrow? And the doctor goes, why? He goes, because the final match is tonight. So I want to ask you, this guy who goes to a psychologist, before he goes to the psychologist, he has to go to his primary care physician, right? To get a referral, right? Before he goes to the primary care physician, he has to make sure that the PCP is part of his network, right? So he makes sure that he's part of his network. Yes? Yes or no? Yes, good. He goes, right before he talks to the doctor, the PCP, he has to go on the scale for vitals. Height, blood pressure, has nothing to do with the nightmares. But he has to go through all this, yes? He has to pay deductible, yes or no? I cannot hear this side, yes or no? Yes, good. He goes and he takes his vitals, he talks with the PCP, gets a referral to someone else who is also in the network, yes? Yes. He gets the EOB afterwards in the mail and he needs to send a payment to the PCP and all the lab tests. And now he needs to go to a psychologist. And he also has to go over there, fill up more paperwork, more insurance paperwork, and pay. Yes or no?
Yes.
Good. Does he really want to change or no? No. Does he want the nightmare to go away? Wait a minute, he spent all this time and all this money trying to get this nightmare go away in his life. So does he want to or not? The answer is yes. He wants it to go away. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone through all this trouble. When you show up on Yom Kippur and you say Hashem, you really want all the problems to go away. You really do. I believe that. I also do that. So wait a minute. Let me ask you this. On the following day, will they take the pill?
No.
Why not?
Yes, if it is a match.
A rematch. The donkey will say, hey, you won. You had a home court advantage. Let's go and have a rematch. Now we had only one hoop. We'll have two hoops, right? Yes? It never ends. It never ends. So what's the solution? The solution is for you to imagine that if you do, everybody has something in their life that comes in between the relationship. Everybody has this, whether it's a nightmare, whether it's a TV, whether it's the internet, whether it's Facebook, whatever it is, whatever you call it nowadays, it interferes in your relationship. And you know what? You know it. Nobody else needs to tell you that. You know it. And you want it to go away? Yes, tomorrow. So, what's the solution to that? You know why we were all laughing about this? Because you can all relate. It's all our problems. That's what happens here. So, what's the solution? The solution is very simple. If you are married, imagine that little thing that comes between you and your wife disappearing. And now all the pleasure that you were having from playing that basketball with a donkey, now you give that pleasure many times more to your wife and you'll get 1,000 times more back from your wife. You know why he didn't stop playing with a donkey and he didn't take the medication? Because he had some pleasure. And now you have to imagine that if you take that pill and if you do away with that, you'll have many more times pleasure in your life without this little thing coming in between you and your wife. And if you're single, you have to remember, you have to see that marriage is wow. It's such a beautiful thing, such a life-fulfilling thing, notwithstanding everything I said so far. I am joking. I am really joking. Listen to this. You are in an office. You have two offices. One is spanking, forget about an office, a shul. Yes, you go to a synagogue. And you see synagogue is spanking clean. All the desks are white, spanking white. The carpet is right in a spot. Everything, all the walls, everything. There is no such thing as, this 2x4s and this. Everything is right there on a spot. As opposed to, you come to Teshuvah. And you come to Teshuvah and the carpet is off. And maybe, this is unfinished business. And there may be some scratches and scuffs on the wall. Which synagogue is better? Teshuvah. Rabbi Elaniano says Teshuvah. And the reason Rabbi Elaniano is always right is because the shmutz that you are seeing, all the defects that you're seeing in your eyes are really not defects. There are signs that this shul is being actually used. Right? If the carpet is always in the right place, that means that there are no kohanim going to the duchan. If there are no scuffs on the wall, that means there are no kids around. Right? You understand? Listen to this. Very, very important thing. I was sitting down to read something. Suddenly, a kid comes. I'm like, can't you do it in your room? Or at least out of my little space here? What do you have to come to? My wife comes and says, no, listen. She is really developing her musical ear. Oh, developing musical ear? Come, try this. Try that. Try this. What happened? It's the same noise. A moment ago it was noise. Now it's music to my ears? What happened? You know what happened? What happened? What? The perception changed. Very good. Thank you, Eitan. Your perception changed. It's all about perception. If you rode with me in a car, and then one of my kids comes to me and on the phone and says, blah, 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 blah. The guy would say, wait a minute, what's going on here? This is Shlom Bayit? You're teaching Shlom Bayit? This is ridiculous. This is World War III. No. This is socialization. My kids are learning to negotiate. This is a home. You come home and the house is messy? It's not messy. This is a sign of living creatures. Yes? I will finish with this. This truck driver rides in the darkness with his buddy out there in a truck. And suddenly he sees a bridge, and the bridge says, clearance 12 feet. And the truck driver says to the buddy, we are toast. Our truck is 15 feet. The bridge is only 12 feet. We must make a U-turn. And the guy says, don't worry. There is no police around. Go through. You're laughing. How many times does that happen in our marriage? All the time. All the time. How many times does it happen in your life? All the time. You're at the office. You're eating bread. Yes? There is nobody around. Nobody would know the difference. Do you actually wash? Do you make the hamotzi with kavana? Do you make the bracha afterwards? The benching afterwards? All three of them with kavana within 72 minutes? Lechatchila? Or do you say, you know what? Nobody knows the difference. I'm not here to be an example for my kids. My wife is not to tell me that I'm wrong because, as she always points out all my defects. So maybe for once I'll do whatever I want. Right? So nobody's around. The police is not here. Fools, right? Foolish behavior. The truck driver was foolish. So do I. I'm thinking about this because saying benching after the bread is really for me to be a person of an attitude of gratitude. And when you have an attitude of gratitude, that will translate to your wife. You also be full of attitude to your wife. Attitude of gratitude. Gratitude. Yes. Thank you. Attitude of gratitude really is an amazing thing. That's where compliments come from. If you look at marriage as only a physical union, if you take the pasuk, the verse, "V'hayu lebasar echad," and there shall be one flesh, literally, if you see marriage as coming of two bodies together, that will be very, very, how should I call it? Limited to one instance in time. But if you look at marriage as really coming together of souls, the union of two minds together, wow, your marriage will really be flourishing. I wanted to just let you know that when I said that I spell my name, that I say Y is for that. My last name is Yacobi Kebriti. I don't have many friends when I spell my last name. Someone came up to me and he gave me a check for $172 for the library in the back. I said, what is $172? He said, it's Yacobi. I said, no, Yacobi was in Israel. They shortened the name. My real last name is Yacobi Kebriti. Let's do the math, for my the gematria. Humor helps in marriage if you use it if you use it at your expense, not at your wife's expense, right? Listen, you can laugh all day long, but if you are cracking jokes at your wife's expense, forget it. Make some jokes at things and write it on the fridge. Okay, you know that my advice to people was to go on a date. Someone told me, Rabbi, I listened to your advice. Not only we go to a date once, we go to a date twice. She goes on Monday and I go on Thursday. Okay, back to the peel thing, yes? The doctor gave him a pill so he won't have the nightmares anymore. Yes? What type of stupid thing is this? Only in storybooks and fairy tales there is a pill that will go away. Do something about it. Yes? This guy calls and tells me, Rabbi, at my home, it's really, really beyond repair. Every time I come home, anger flares up. And so I told him, listen, every day before you come home, walk or take a jog, maybe 3 miles. Yeah, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. After a while, he calls me and says, Rabbi, your advice was really sage. Thank you so much. I said, how are things at home? He tells me, I don't know. Every day I've been running 10 miles. I'm now in Alaska. Yes? Find out what is it with you that can really get that little nightmare that you have with a donkey out. Forget about pills. Maybe it's time for you to get out and play real basketball. Yes? Find out what is it that you really had derived pleasure from that basketball with a donkey, and find it in something else for Shalom Bayit. Chazak u'baruch.